Hi everybody, Arthur Arkush, Kevin Fishbain here for ProFootballWeekly.com. And now that the deadline for teams to use their franchise tag has passed, we've learned a couple things. Our already thin free agent class going in just got a lot thinner. If you're looking for help at quarterback, at wide receiver, maybe tight end, maybe an edge rusher, you're probably out of luck. There's just not much there, but there are still some pretty good football players left. In the secondary, to Sean Gibson, a Janoris Jenkins, there is some frontline talent still to work with, Kevin.
Yeah, there definitely is. I think you're going to find some starters. Look, teams have realized you can't let these guys hit free agency when they're star players like a Von Miller or Josh Norman. You have to use the franchise tag. That's what it's there for. But I think some of those players you just mentioned could still see the top, the peak of their career.
A couple of really intriguing running backs, Arthur. We know Matt Forte is a Pro Bowler. The question is, what does he have left at the age of 30? And I look at Lamar Miller, and I see potentially a perennial Pro Bowler at that position who I think was just used incorrectly in Miami.
Yeah, Lamar Miller, 24 years old, the youngest really of any of the attractive free agents. So it'll be fascinating to see how Adam Gase views him and what Miami, which is already in, cap hell, if you will be able to do to keep Miller. Matt Forte, obviously, Bears fans know what he's capable of. And of course, Doug Martin coming off the number 2 in the NFL rushing performance is probably going to attract some big money. Chris Ivory out there as well.
Arthur, they're lesser known, but some guys like Kelvin Beachum at offensive tackle, maybe Brandon Brooks at guard. There are some good football players on the offensive line.
Yeah, and I was actually told a couple weeks ago that even the second wave of free agency is a place where you're going to be able to find some productive starting guards, whether, like you said, it's Brandon Brooks, he'll probably go sooner, Jeff Allen, but as you get further down the line, there's still going to be some good players.
Then, Kevin, we get back to Brock Osweiler. We've heard that John Elway could have interest in a trade for Colin Kaepernick. We've also heard that the Houston Texans could be eyeing Kaepernick, but maybe want to make a run in free agency at Brock Osweiler.
It's a very weird free agency for the quarterback position. Kirk Cousins locked up with the franchise tag, but you got guys with starting experience like Kaepernick potentially available via trade, and then you mentioned Brock Osweiler. Usually there are not that many quarterbacks with starting experience available for other teams to have, so I'm really curious to see how that works and how the money works. I mean, how much money does Brock Osweiler think he deserves after those few starts in Denver? I mean, you can see a team like Cleveland, Los Angeles that just needs a starting quarterback throwing a ton of money at him based on those few games and making him their starter, and then Denver would be in a tough situation.
Yeah, one more guy we have to talk about. Sam Bradford is off the quarterback market as well, but another guy, maybe the best player available in free agency, Damon Harrison, Snacks from the New York Jets. I think he's the best nose tackle in football. They hung a tag on Muhammad Wilkerson. They want to re-sign Ryan Fitzpatrick, Arthur. I think he's a guy who could hit the pot of gold more than anybody, and I don't think he's likely to stay in New York.
And I think it's currently the most talented defensive line in football, but what does that mean? Also that the Jets have invested so heavily in the likes of Leonard Williams, Wilkerson with the tag. They're going to have to address Sheldon Richardson. So, yeah, that's a great point. Damon Harrison could be hitting the market, and he has been really just a huge element in that one of the top run defenses in football for the past handful of years.
March 9th on your calendar, folks, the first day teams can sign free agents. There's going to be some absurd contracts with the $12 million per team increase in the salary cap. For all the best coverage, all the inside news, all the news scoops and rumors before they happen, stay right here at 24/7 at ProFootballWeekly.com.